личной связи. Общественных суждений. Никто не будет.
So, what is sociology? Well, sociology is a science that studies relationships between people, individuals, we mean social groups, institutions, and the society. It's a social science that studies how these institutions and groups and individuals are connected between themselves. We see that there is a close connection between people and the environment they live in. There is a close connection between our groups and ourselves. So we are dependent on society, and on the other hand, we also take part in forming the patterns of behavior in our society. Well, to start with, I would say that the advent of IT technologies, that is the inroads that have been made in telecommunications, I think these have been very, very important in building relationships between people. We see that people now communicate better. I can give an example. I was able to find some of my friends I hadn't seen for well over 20 years on the Facebook, and we reconnected, and it feels good. So I do believe that the relationships between people can only get better, even though we are saying that people do not go out on a face-to-face basis. That doesn't mean people do not communicate. I don't want to agree with that. I think we have to agree that situations are changing, and we have to come to terms with that. We don't want to go back. So this is progress in a way. So I would say that relationships between people are getting better. We see young people, they are getting more tolerant to each other. If we live in a multi-ethnic society, so we see that people are becoming to understand each other. That's a trickish question, I would say, because families are different. I think each family decides who should be the head of them, but in reality, man is always at the head. I would say that there is a joke, the English joke, that a man is asking his friend, "Why you never quarrel with your wife?" I say, "Oh well, we have a role. We have a division of labor. We play the roles that." So, what role do you play in the family? What role does your wife play? Okay, well, my wife decides where to go on holiday, what car we should buy next, what school children should go, and how much shall we give to the developing countries, and so on. And then, okay, that's interesting. But what role do you play in the family? Well, I decide we should vote for in the next election. When we understand this role, that this is your role, and you play it well, there's no conflict. Having said that, I think every woman wants to see the man as the head of the family, someone who, by that I mean someone who can protect the family, who can provide for the family, who can play the role of a role model for the children. So I think this is very important. But we have to respect each other. Family is based on mutual respect and mutual responsibilities. So I would say that it all depends on the family. Some family, they agree that the husband will take all decisions. In some families, the wife takes all the decisions. Well, sociologists are just like any scientists. It depends where you work, really. From the United States Department of Statistics, I think on average a sociology earns about $55,000 a year. But that again depends on what country. That's for the United States. I think that in different countries, sociologists, they earn just like any scientists maybe. So it depends on the priority we place on this science in our country. So I think that sociologists, middle class people, they are satisfied, I would say. And sociology is a liberating science that I think the joy of knowing and learning is very, very important to a sociologist. The ability to manage your life and ability to be able to predict social behavior and to work in these prestigious places. It's very important. We see sociologists working in different parts. They do very, very well in government. They do very, very well in government departments like hospitals, psychiatric hospitals, schools, prisons, different places. So, and I see that sociologists are among the best writers as well. So it all depends on your location and the type of priority people place on that science in the society. Well, I would say that a perfect family is a family where there is mutual understanding, there is a mutual respect between the man and woman and the children. A perfect family is a family where there is always food on the table and everybody plays their role very well. If the man is the breadwinner, he goes out to work and brings home the money, supports the family. The wife puts the house in order, looks after children, brings up children to be good citizens. I think this is a perfect family. A perfect family is a family where children are given good values and they are well brought up, because as a sociologist, I do believe that it's very, very important for children to be well brought up. And it's a really hard job, really. A lot of people think that just enough to have children and to have money. No, it's not. To bring up children to be well behaved, to be good citizens, takes a lot of effort from the two parents. As I said earlier, the father has to be a role model for the children, and the mother has to give them good food, good clothing, good values, good upbringing, and protect them. So I think a perfect family is a family where everything is peaceful and we love each other and we talking a lot, we're doing things together, we're having holidays together, we're spending time together. I don't think it's bad. As a sociologist, I respect women, and I would say that historically women have been denied a lot of their rights. Feminists, or feminism as we call it, began, I think, after the war. So I think this is also historical. When during the war, women demonstrated that they were able to do the same thing as men can do. As we saw women assembling tanks, building planes and bombs, and taking very, very important role in this war. And after the war, women realized that, okay, we've been relegated and marginalized too long, so we have to take our rights. I think feminism is asking for the equal rights for women fighting for equal rights. I think this is very good because we see that a lot of progress we have achieved in recent time is due to the fact that women are being allowed now to play their roles to the fullest in the society. I tend to agree with the notion that in every society, every progressive society, you tend to see women taking very, very active roles. We see that in the East, people tend to be more traditional, and the influence of religion is also very, very important here. Particularly Islamic religion, they are different. In the West, I think people tend to be freer. I think the values are different. It's what we call rational thinking. So the Western society tend to value rational thinking, scientific life. We do believe that with the help of science, we can interpret, we can explain a lot of things, and we can achieve a lot. Whereas for most part of the East, they still believe in the spiritual nature of things. So that's a fact. Western societies are very, very open to changes, where the traditional Eastern society changes come very, very painfully. People tend to be resistant to changes. There is a close relationship between the two sciences. Philosophy is science of wisdom, science of knowledge, and knowledge is the basis of everything we do. In fact, the basis of human progress. Sociology actually came out of philosophy, so it's an offshoot of sociology is an offshoot of philosophy. Because the founder of sociology and the man who actually began sociology as a science, Augustus Comte, actually called it social philosophy. So it's about the knowledge of the society, which I think is very, very appropriate. We spent thousands of years trying to learn, to study, to understand the nature, the environment, but we recently only began to learn ourselves, to understand ourselves, the society that we live in. So philosophy is the basis of sociology, so the basis of this knowledge. I think there's a close connection between them. I would like to appeal to students out there to choose this university, because for one thing, this is high-tech university. This is information technology. You learn a lot of things that you may not be able to do anywhere else, because this is an institution that's well focused on information technology. So I think, and then we do this in English, so you get everything in the original. Then we do have certain courses from world-renowned providers like Carnegie, we have Cisco, we have different courses here, which are very, very original, tailored to the technology of information technologies, robotics, computer building, and all these things. So and now as we enter into the artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, all of these are very, very richly taught at this university. The journalists are learning here how to create content. So I think if you are thinking of what to study and you think that, I want to be a journalist, that's a very good profession to choose, because you're going to get a full spectrum of information and skills that you need to become electronic journalist at this university. It's very, very important these days that we have electronic journalism, people who really understand what is going on in the internet age, the computer age, the age of information explosion. So you got to be there, and it's really big fun. Thank you.